what happens most times is that comparison then often leads to competition. So you would find that instead of you to be humble, to commit to all you need to commit to learn things you need to learn, to serve where you need to serve, to support where you need to support, to ask when you need to ask, you're in competition with the person because you're trying to prove a point that you can create what it is that they've created. Hi there, it's Ife George here, and welcome to day 13 of your 21 days to transformation. Today, I'll be speaking about the power of association. If you're just joining these sessions, it'll be beautiful to go through day 1 to day 12. And one of my anchor principles, call it an adopted philosophy if you may, is that he who walks with the wise will be wise. He who walks with the wise will be wise. Now, I understand that on the journey to transforming yourself, there's the need for association, all right? And I believe that I've established it in one of the earlier videos that we cannot do life in isolation, all right? And if we cannot do life in isolation, then it means that there's power in association. All right, there's power in association. But the anchoring idea that I want you to take away from this is that it's not just association. All right, it's not just association. And that's why I premised this first on that anchoring principle that he who walks with the wise will be wise. And so the goal of establishing this for your life is that you're committing to wise association, all right? And I believe that anyone who's going to establish appropriate association for themselves must first of all have a good sense of where they're headed. We've established that in this process already, a vision for your life, a direction for your life, where you're headed, where you're going, what it is that you're trying to accomplish with your life, what it is you've been called to, what it is you've been called for, what it is you've been gifted with, right? And so when a person already knows what they are gifted with, what they are called to do, what they are committing themselves to, what they are throwing themselves behind, it kind of gives a sense of who will be relevant for that journey for you. All right, who will serve as a source of inspiration, who will serve as a source of counsel, who would help in that journey, right? Who will serve as a source of support. All right, and so you've been able to establish, or you are able to establish all of that because of your clarity of purpose. You are able to establish all of that because of a sense of mission that you have, because of the vision that you're working with. And so in this video, I'm going to highlight 3 things I believe should guide your establishment for associations in this period of your transformation. All right. But to start with, I believe that one of the things that is most critical is that in establishing appropriate associations for yourself, you need to lead with humility. Humility precedes learning. All right. Humility precedes learning. And the way that a person gets to learn from an established relationship or connection is that they have humbled themselves to the point where they believe that I can learn from this association. I can gain from this association. I can benefit from this association. And so the foundation that you're premising your connections on is one that should elicit inspiration and direction for you rather than comparison. Because for someone who is just looking to establish a particular thing for their life, it is possible that every time you're in contact with somebody that is doing similar or someone that's doing better than, that comparison is unlocked. All right? That comparison is unlocked. And so what you want to do is humble yourself beforehand to know that I am seeking inspiration and direction rather than comparison. Because what happens most times is that comparison then often leads to competition. So you would find that instead of you to be humble, to commit to all you need to commit to learn things you need to learn, to serve where you need to serve, to support where you need to support, to ask when you need to ask, you're in competition with the person because you're trying to prove a point that you can create what it is that they've created. Right? I see it in you and I want it in me. And so I am competing with you. And that sometimes unknowingly competing to create the same thing, to prove a point that I can create the same for myself. All right? The goal of establishing associations should be more for inspiration and direction, not comparison or competition. And so 3 ways that I believe you can build appropriate associations for yourself. Now, once your vision is established, one critical way to build associations, relevant associations, will be to explore for relevant communities. Now, there are communities all over the world that you might find relevant to the area or the field that you're hoping to develop in. All right. And so maybe I have a vision for my marriage. What marriage communities can I join? Right? What marriage communities can I join? I have a vision for my business. What business communities can I join? Where people have shared values. Remember what I said? I said to go far, you want to go together. And so building yourself in community is another way to establish yourself. Now you have people you can benchmark your progress against, right? You have people that can inspire the way that you're working. You can literally what you call compare notes, right? You can literally compare notes. Like you can see what people are doing in areas where you're stuck. You can get counsel. And in the multitude of counsel, there's often safety. In the multitude of counsel, there's often safety. So the more people you're able to compare these notes with, the more you understand what direction you should be going or what direction you should be going. All right. And so having relevant communities can be a beneficial way of establishing association for yourself. Now, it is beautiful when you have communities where support is an overarching way for how they engage, right? And so you want to seek truly supportive communities. You want to seek communities that are headed in the same direction, or at least headed in directions that align to your vision. All right. Now, there's something that I always say. It is very possible for a person to say, you know what? I try to find communities to fit in, but somehow it doesn't just feel like I'm fitting in. Now, I'll chip this in before I move on to the next one. I always say it is possible to create the thing you don't see. Now, if there's a way you hope community will be done, maybe for whatever reason, you've been able to experience things that make you know the ways that things could be done better. There's nothing wrong with you creating or establishing one and then getting people like you to join and getting sources of inspiration and direction to also be a part of it. Now, the goal of any community should be that it is able to do three things: that it's able to inspire, it's able to empower, and it's able to direct. Right? It's able to inspire, it's able to empower, it's able to direct. Because the people there can be inspired to want to do what they said they want to do and commit to it, and they can be empowered, meaning they have the capacity and the ability to do it, and they can be directed to action. The job is done. All right, the job is done. So if you establish something of the kind, what you want to do is ensure that these elements are present. Once you establish a community, it must have the capacity to inspire, to empower, and to direct, right? Meaning the people there have a sense of direction when they are done, and they have the capacity to, and they're inspired and motivated to want to do what they have to do. All right. And so once you are able to fulfill those elements, all things being equal, you should be able to create a community that you're happy to be a part of. So the next thing you want to do is build and nurture authentic and support-focused relationships. Now, these are personal relationships now. These are friendships. These are relationships where you literally can be yourself, where you can, flaws and all, stay vulnerable. You can tell your weaknesses, you can share strengths, you can share wins, you can share failures, and inspiration is all that is unlocked. It's like iron sharpening iron. And so you've established relationships with people, not necessarily going toward the same vision as yours, but people also making progress with their life. All right. And so you're sharpening one another toward making progress in your life, towards transforming yourself in different areas of your life, towards establishing life at a level of productivity, at a level of fulfillment, at a level of meaning, and all of that. Now, the idea is that you're not void of those kinds of associations where inspiration is the bedrock of how you move together, where support is the bedrock of how you move together, where you challenge one another to do better daily. I personally selected the friendships that I've placed in that sphere, right? The friendships that I consider inspirational for myself. Now, the truth is, whether it happened by me reaching out or it happened by orchestration, in which case things lined up for us to connect. Either way, I could sense when I came in contact with any of those friendships that this friendship wasn't just for trivialities. This friendship was established as a support system for the progress of my life. And so what you want to do is consciously build and nurture those relationships. And you can't build and nurture something you only get from. Meaning you must be willing to give something. All right. You can't build and nurture something you only get from. You must be willing to give something. It is through those kind of friendships that you're able to also establish collaborations and partnerships and sometimes accountability. But the idea is that you must be willing to give of yourself as you commit to those friendships. All right. You must be willing to give of yourself as you commit to those friendships. So I'm helping my pair become something better as they are helping me become something better. Like we're literally supporting one another for the advancement of our goals, for the achievement of our vision, for the empowerment of ourselves. Now, the third one you want to focus on is to invest in mentors. Now, I can't speak about the power of association without letting you know that mentorship is a critical part of that. He who walks with the wise will be wise. And so you want to establish relationship with mentors. You want to establish relationship with mentors. I know somebody that refers to our mentors as our advisory board, right? And she does that because she considers her mentors as source of counsel. Now, mentors have gone ahead of you. They are the closest picture representation of what you're envisioning to create. Now, you might have the fortune of having mentors with physical proximity where you can connect physically. And you might also have mentors that are not physical, the ones that you can't connect with. Say, for example, you're not in the same city, you're not in the same environment, or there are no similar connections that have brought you together, but they are a source of inspiration for something you want to create. Now, you want to establish a connection to mentors based on the kind of inspiration that they would give toward the vision that you have. I remember one of my most influential mentors. I remember many years ago, I'd gone to a conference and I'd seen him speak at that conference and I was fully inspired. You know, you go for a conference that has multiple speakers and the moment a particular person is done speaking, you realize, I think I came here for this person, right? I was wondering where he came from. I'd never heard of him before. I'd never seen him before. I was seeing him for the first time at that conference and I was literally blown. So I'd come to the conference because of the organizer of the conference that I'd considered to be a mentor. And yeah, I was face to face with someone that literally just did it for me. And I realized, look, this is what I came for. Right? This is what I came for. Now, I go away from there and I'm telling my fiancée at the time, now wife, that I found someone. I just found someone that seems to be living out exactly what I have pictured to create with my life. And so by providence, this organization is in need of someone to plan their events. And at this time, I used to plan events. So I applied. I applied because I had the skill set to deliver a service that they needed in the organization. All right. Now, what was happening in return was that I had come into close proximity with this desired mentor. Right. Now, before then, I had picked up every of his material that I could find. And I was just going through everything that he had created, listening to things he had said, delving into the way that he thinks. And then this opens up. Right now, so this even opens up because I am in close proximity to him by virtual relation, right? I'm in close proximity to him by virtual relation. I'm engaging with the things that he's doing. I'm following the things that he's doing. And then I see that opening, right? And so I joined of course, I go for an interview, because I believe it was orchestrated. So I get the job and then I'm in close proximity. Now, this person is still standing as a current mentor to me, but I'm saying this to say that it is possible that you would move from a non-physical connection to a mentor to a physical connection to a mentor. But the fact that it doesn't start from a physical connection shouldn't stop you if you find inspiration in this person. All right. So what you're trying to establish is that this person serves as a source of inspiration for the vision that you're working toward. All right. This person serves as a source of inspiration for the vision that you're working towards. And be willing to serve as you're being served. Be willing to serve as you're being served. Now, I've heard it said before that every mentor has things they also want to accomplish. Every mentor has things they also want to accomplish. So be willing to serve as you're being served. Don't be that person that is just looking to take, right? Because what happens is that with the way life is, people are busy engaging in their day-to-day, the things that they have been commissioned to do, or the things that they are focused on doing, or the things that they have unlocked their commitment towards. Now, you'll be a distraction if they have not particularly committed time to you for that relationship. All right. And so one way to be able to keep and maintain access is that you're also of value to the person that mentors you. Right? One way to keep and maintain access is that you're also of value to the person that mentors you. Now, there are many other, things to consider, right? Except a virtual type of connection, in which case you're probably connecting with resources, materials, and the things that the mentor has established over time, in which case those are the sources of your inspiration. In a physical connection, there's also the expectation that there's an established way or established mode of mentoring. All right, there's the expectation there's an established mode of mentoring. And so, of course, you want to be sure that you have that established mode of mentoring if you have a physical connection with your said mentor. The reason that associations are critical is that you cannot want to transform your life and remain in association or connection with the wrong sources of counsel or inspiration. And that includes the things you feed yourself with from the media, right? It includes who you follow and what they say and do that you glean on. Sometimes you don't even know the degree to which you're storing things up in your mind as sources of counsel until you see yourself taking the action that those things have inspired. And so you want to be mindful. You want to be mindful of every source of counsel. So it is possible for me to be telling you about the power of association, but we are not paying attention to the idea that association in itself is anything that you connect to and receive instruction from. Now, whether we like it or not, everything we experience in life is a source of instruction. Everything. Everything we experience in life is a source of instruction. And the instruction it gives you is not one you are aware of until the day when that instruction is demanded by an experience. You would not know how much you have taken in from a source of counsel or from a source of instruction until the day when that instruction is demanded by an experience. And so you want to be mindful of who you expose yourself to in association. You want to be mindful of what you allow to inspire you. You want to be mindful of the things that suggest possibilities to you. You want to be mindful of the way that your life is guided on this journey to transformation. And just to repeat this, relationships at a huge level can be give and take, sometimes in equal or varying measures, but you must always have something to give. All right, you should and you must always have something to give. All right, until day 14, have a lovely day.